Alright guys, it's Beast, back with some more beastly content. So today is going to be the beginning of, and most of today is actually just going to be gathering stuff up. So what we're going to be doing actually is moving to a mushroom island. I have found a very tiny mushroom island, not too far from my base, but far enough away to merit an entirely new base. Not only that, my entire plan here is to grab a inventory full of shulkers of materials that I am allowed to take with me. And then this base will be forever banned from my nether portal hub list of bases I allow myself to travel to for 100 in-game days. Now, currently I'm just kind of throwing stuff in the chest here. We're going to go through the video, we're going to go through all my chest, find all the materials I want, go through my storage, see what I got in there. And I challenge you guys to the exact same thing. 100-day Mushroom Island Challenge. I challenge you to move to the Mushroom Island and live on it for 100 days. Now, the main reason why I'm doing this, and the main rule here is that you're not allowed to travel back to your original base. That does not include any other bases of any sort. Like I have an Ocean Monument base, I have a skeleton base that's literally just the spawner, but it's still a skeleton base and I need bone meal eventually. But I have all of these different other bases that I haven't really given any time to because it's all been given to my underground base. Which, if any of you have watched my brief tours of my underground bases, you will see that it's a very, very large base. I think I've showed the crafting area, but I have since updated it a little bit. It is a shame to be kind of walking away from the base and spending 100 days in-game, of course, away from my underground base. But I think this should be a fun little experiment, and my only concern is that by the end of the 100 days in the Mushroom Island, I'm going to love the base that I build there so much that I don't even want to come back to this base, which would be a crying shame because this base is absolutely massive. I have so many different projects going on in this base currently that I am just putting all on hold in order to do this Mushroom Island Challenge. I just wanted something different. I wanted to have a little bit of daylight in my life. The thing about building an underground base in Minecraft and that being the only thing you ever do is when you do finally go above ground, it is almost a shock to you. You're just like, wow, I see the light of the day. And it's just nuts to me that I spend so much time underground on this game. And while I don't really want to do an overworld base or build a base anywhere near my underground base, I'm trying to make it to where most of the world, the entire world, you don't see many buildings, and if you do, they're tied to underground bases, and the only thing you're going to see is the entrances to the underground bases, and we're just going to be beginning our 1.21 base of sorts. So, the reason why I chose the Mushroom Island is very simple. I plan on making a bit of an XP sort of machine that will just automatically kill chickens and give me a full heal on my pickaxe because all of my stuff has mending now. So really the only way for me to lose my tools is by just mining until they break instead of going around and finding me some XP. Since you can spawn chickens so fast, I figured a instant harming to splash potion that would kill tons and tons of chickens while you're, and then switching over to your pickaxe, it heals you quite a lot. Now I did use this on my current chicken contraption. It does look like I had cut out the chicken contraption farm I was using currently to farm XP. However, we did do that, so as you can see here, my pickaxe is almost full health, which is dang good enough for me. It's a netherite pick. It has like Unbreaking 3 on it and everything else, so it's doing alright. It's also netherite, so need not really say any more, honestly. But as you can see here, we're just going through our storage area now, gathering more stuff. We checked all of our dump chests. I think we've already seen that. Oh no. So yeah, we already checked those. The next thing we did was head to the Iron Golem farm that is here. This is going to be the last time we get to use the Iron Golem farm as well now. So any iron that we get at this new area until we have our own new Iron Golem farm created is going to be strictly for mining, as well as any iron that we were able to gather before leaving the base. We did take all our iron with us. However, we didn't really have that much farmed up from the farm, as it turns out. We never really sat and left our computer on overnight at the Iron Golem farm that often, and when we did, we used a whole lot of hoppers, so we don't have too much iron to take with us. I think I came out with at least a couple stacks of iron and maybe a couple stacks of raw iron as well. But on to the nether. So the reason why we were actually traveling to the nether to begin with is just due to the fact that, I mean, one, it's how we're going to get to the Mushroom Island. My Mushroom Island is connected to my nether hub. Technically, I could return to my original underground base just via this portal in the center here. However, I am going to be not doing so for 100 in-game days. while we build out our Mushroom Island base. And we have to go all in on it when we do play. So that's kind of the idea here is. So unless I actually feel like playing Minecraft, I'm not going to sit down and record one of the days or however many days I fit into each of these episodes, because this is going to be broken down into episodes. I know a lot of 100-day videos are just like one solid video, but there's just no way that you fit that many hours of content into one video and it actually be a legitimate video for 99% of those videos. Some people do it and it takes a whole lot of editing. I've done it before. It's a good solid 10-hour edit when you're editing 10 hours of footage. It's a 10-hour edit. I mean, you got 10 hours of footage. If it's edited properly, you want to watch the footage before you release it. But I figured this was a fun little way to do it. So as you can see that we also visited our skeleton farm there. Now we're just going to be making our way back from here. This here is our main portal to the end gateway here. This little bridge here is. I don't think it's completed yet. However, it will eventually take you to the end gateway. That's kind of the idea of the blocking coloring. Just the first initial main attraction on the list is what the color of the floor is going to be. Speaking of which, the Ocean Monument Marketplace. Well, I did have a lot of fun building this, and it did take many hours just getting all the villagers in here and getting all the traders going on. I have not worked on this in a very long time, and it's just because I'm kind of stumped on... It's not that I'm stumped. I'm sure I could come up with some sort of design in this thing, and it would look absolutely amazing. It's just, I got tired of it. It's a little bit boring. I got sidetracked by the underground base, but I'm also allowed to work on that during my 100 days in the Mushroom Island biome. However... as well as the Nether Hub or anywhere else. However, I always have to have a clock on me, and any work done in the Nether Hub is what is going to be considered as out of time. As most of you know, in the Nether, when you use a clock, it shows the day and night cycle kind of just spinning and spinning and spinning. And to me, that kind of symbolizes the Nether being outside of time itself. So any work done on the Nether Hub, even if I do show it in one of these videos, is going to be just strictly out of time and not counted towards the 100 days on the Mushroom Island. So that might discourage me a little bit from visiting here, but if I do need a break from the Mushroom Island and I can do this single player, I can play the Nether Hub and build the Nether Hub outside a video and then just include 15 seconds of showing, hey, look how good my Nether Hub looks now. But as you can see here, currently my Nether Hub needs a lot of work. So it does appear to me that we are making the final trek down the hallway that will be taking us directly to our new Mushroom Island home. So we did get a little distracted here. We peeked out and then I realized I could see a chest just over yonder, but then I almost ventured out. I thought about it. I really did. But the mission must not be distracted. I also remembered that my inventory was entirely filled with shulkers, entirely filled up with all sorts of materials, and one monster knocking me off into lava would basically be the end of all of my armor, all of my weapons, all of my shulkers boxes full of stuff, and I would literally be starting back at almost ground zero, though I could just return to my base and say, well, I lost all the valuable stuff that I wanted to take the first time. Let's grab some more stuff. And I know some of it I have a huge supply of anyway. Some of it I do not, and that would have sucked a lot. Technically, I could have used my crafter arrays and powered them up and actually crafted more items that I wanted to bring with me, but I wanted to kind of keep it as taking only what's in the crafting array, only what's in the chest, and take it all as that, only as what I already had made up. I restricted myself from getting any stone out of any silos, but if there were dump chests that had some sort of stone in it, those were free game to take. We did also include ourselves just a couple more empty shulkers that we took with us. We didn't actually fill up the entire inventory. I think we were 4 shulkers off or something. But we got pretty close. The first thing we began doing, though, was getting a staircase up from the portal, as I want the portal to kind of be the starting point of this base here. I'm even going to eventually design the portal out so that it looks really good, and it's kind of just this is the beginning of the island. I want to eventually build across the entire island. However, due to the fact that I am, by nature, an underground Minecrafter, I just enjoy playing underground, building my base underground, building massive bases underground. Heck, maybe one day this Mushroom Island base might even connect to my original base, because I don't actually believe it's that many thousand blocks away. I think it's only 1,000 blocks away from my current base, and maybe on the far side of my underground base, even closer. But we will have to explore that in another 100 days from now. This is the very start of our first day. We have all of our shulkers placed down now on top of this mushroom here. We're just kind of going through, seeing what all we did bring with us, so we know what all we can get going on in order to actually get ourselves what we need here. So I think I'm going to be taking a little, and I'm not going to call it a brute force approach to wheat, but I'm going to take, because there's going to be a silo storage chest here. This is like almost like starting an entirely new playthrough here, because I'm not allowed to access any of the chests in my original base, and also all of the dump chests. I think anything in the nether, I can't access any of the dump chests in my original base, but any of the dump chests in any other base are still accessible when I do visit those. However, I'm also not allowed to go underground. I'm limiting myself to that as well, entirely underground for this area until I at least have myself a clock, which I did not make for myself before leaving. I also did not grab, I don't believe, any gold. I may have grabbed some gold, but I don't think I did. I did grab some redstone. I did grab a good handful of pistons, so we should have some redstone fun. And we probably have some sticks. We should have a decent handful of wood. We also have some saplings, so we can get a wood farm going out here. Because if we want oak wood, or any other type of wood, we're going to have to plant and grow it on this here island, either somewhere inside of the base, or on the island, or as such. But as you can see here, what we were doing now is just going ahead and kind of designing out the stairs a little bit. We built the stairs, we got the rails going, and we're just kind of playing with the stairs. I like to use stairs to make intricate designs. You can make some really cool stuff just using stairs. People want to use like glitches or like using a stinking piston to push a block into a block, and just that's not my style of Minecraft. That almost seems like you're having to exploit just to get the design that you're wanting. I think if you can't capture the beauty of what the game provides to you without using a piston to put into a block, I don't know. Maybe it's to each his own, and to some farms degree, I've seen some really nice hopper farms, for instance, where you push like a hopper or something into a magma block, where just anything that stands on the magma block will automatically be collected because there's a hopper inside of it. That's kind of cool. I might actually implement that into one of my future farms. However, what we're currently doing here now is just getting the face of this here mountain kind of flattened off a little bit. Because eventually I think the plan is for this mountain cap piece here, we're going to hollow out the entire inside of the mountain, and we're going to use that cave looking thing that we just seen going down there. That cave looking area, that's going to like wind down deeper into more of the actual underground portion of the base for when we're finally actually back to building an underground base. Now, another thing to mention about my original base. If I was to, once I get the underground base going on here, going and build out a fully functional, fully decked out and decorated tunnel that led directly from the Mushroom Island base to my old underground base, it would be free game, but I would only be allowing myself to travel via said tunnel from my original base to the island base, which is, I do believe there's at least a good 700, 600 blocks away from this island, which is pretty wild, thinking of how far we are away from our base. And it is really going to be interesting starting over. Once we are out of all these resources that we brought, we will just be pretty much out of resources, and some of the resources that we brought we have so much of we're probably never going to use, and will end up just needing to be placed in a silo on this island itself one day. But for now, what we were doing is just filling in the ground, making it flat so that we might be able to build onto this area here. We are going to be making an entrance onto the side of this that will enter into what's going to be that hollowed out mountain area, which will eventually lead down into an underground base like I discussed earlier. Right here is going to just be the building of that doorway. I think I'm just going to show you the entire building of it, just because I really enjoyed building this. It's not hard to build this, and it's just, once again, another example of how you can use stairs, slabs, and things, and turn them different ways, and make really interesting walls and such out of them, and there's a lot more detail to them without actually having to throw a whole bunch of blocks at it or anything like that, or a bunch of trapdoors and things like that. You can just take the blocks and you can use the stairs, the slabs, everything, and make some really interesting designs here. We ended up going with tough brick slabs here, just kind of jutting out here. This is going to be what is going to be the back side of what's going to be like kind of like a temple. I think I'm going to take a look at the jungle temple See how the design is, and we're kind of going to go for a jungle temple vibe, but it's going to be of our own block choices, and it's not going to be just a photocopy jungle temple. It's just, we're going to try and take inspiration from that. However, this back door will end up being probably a piston activated door. I'm not sure if I want to make like a puzzle to get in. It's like a super instant solution, but only if you know it. But maybe like there's a hint or something. I'm not sure how I'm going to be doing this door here. However, I think I might be making it not completely a secret entrance, but more of like a gate kept, I suppose would be a better word for it, because it's not really secret. There's an entire temple and like a walkway all the way up to it. It's like there has to be something going on at this doorway looking area that just happens to have a wall here. Surely it opens up. How do I get it to open up, sort of thing. I don't really think it's a secret base, just due to the fact that there's a building hinting it's here, and it's like, why else would this temple be here other than to be just a secret doorway? But we will see how the temple is going on in the next episode. I don't actually think we're going to get to any more building here aside from this little doorway area. I just wanted to kind of finish this off, and we aren't going to show the entire building of it, but I just kind of wanted to finish off this little doorway here and get the island looking a little bit more flat. I did a lot of standing around, letting the mycelium grow and cover all of the dirt that we currently have placed for any areas that don't end up actually being an area that is a part of an actual building area, because while I have flattened this area out so that I can build a larger area here, I'm not sure actually how big this temple building is going to be either. It might even just be more of like a shrine thing with a couple levers placed to look like designs, but one of them is actually the activating lever. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it once again, but we will see in the next episode of this Mushroom Island challenge. And as you can see here, this is how I do the walls as well. I had a little bit of trouble doing this. It actually works out better if you just place the first one standing normally upright on the top block and then placing the bottom block. But as you can see here, we have another wall to do that. So let's go ahead and see that one more time so you can see how that design is done. It's very, very simple, and it makes stuff look a lot better, as you can see. And literally all of this is just stairs, and it's kind of hard to believe that it's all just stairs, because some of it from certain angles looks just like just a bunch of these blocks stacked up. And once again, just mine out the bottom one, place it like this, and then boom, and now look at that. Perfect walls. I love them. I think they look great. Another little trick I like to do when placing the floor is actually just dig out a block beneath it one more. We're actually going to go with 2 torches under here, and then we're going to dig out all of these blocks, and we're going to be placing slabs down all the way. Boom, it's lit up, but you don't see the torch, and it will keep mobs away, and it works perfectly. That being said, we are in a Mushroom Island, and I don't actually believe mobs spawn here, so that's a plus of being on a Mushroom Island, I do suppose. But we are reaching closer to the end of the video. We are just finishing up this doorway here, and this will be it. Like I said, a lot of this video was spent just gathering the resources for this challenge, and I think we have officially started like midpoint of day 1. I think we have to wait till night before it's officially day 1. But yeah, we are just finishing off this little door here. I'm going to go ahead and show it completed right here. Well, a completed design for now. As you can see, we have all this area to build here. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do the temple anymore, or if I'm just going to design that little area there. But I do believe that is all. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode.